Assalamualaikum everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we will be starting our new topic of physics, that is scalar and vector quantities. Talking about scalar quantities, the physical quantities having magnitude only and no particular distance. This is called scalar quantity. The one key point of the scalar quantity is that the scalar quantity can be add, subtract, multiply, divide with arithmetic rule. It can be MCQs. That with which one rule scalar quantity can be add, subtract, multiply and divide. So you will say that arithmetic rule. So how the physical quantity having magnitude only, why not a particular distance? So I am having one example. I will show you that here. If I am writing here 3 centimeter, think about that this line is of 3 centimeter. Okay, so this 3 is called the number, certain number, and this is its unit. This is its suitable unit. Okay, this is a certain number and this is a suitable unit. When suitable unit and certain number combine together, so it forms magnitude. What it forms? It forms magnitude. Okay, let's take one of let's take some example of that we are having example of length. Length is an scalar quantity. We are having an example of mass. Mass is a scalar quantity. We are having time. Time is a scalar quantity. We are having thermodynamic temperature. Thermodynamic temperature is an example of scalar quantity. We are having amount of luminous intensity. Luminous intensity. Amount of luminous intensity is a scalar quantity. Then we are having current. With current we are having work. If we are having work, so we are also having power. There are so many examples of scalar quantity. Power, then we are having energy, we are having heat, we are having an example of calorie, we are having an example of charge, we are example of distance, we are having example of speed, example of entropy, we are having example of amplitude. Sorry, it's not amplitude, it's amplitude. We are having example of amplitude. Then we are having more example of wavelength. Then we are having light year. There's so many examples too, but these are some of the example of the scalar quantities. Now let's move further to the vector quantities. So vector quantity is the same opposite of the scalar quantity. In it here we can say that the physical quantities which completely specified by a certain number and with suitable unit. Certain number with suitable unit dimension, it's I think so, with suitable unit and having here was in scalar quantity there was a not a particular distance, but in the vector quantity there is particular direction. Sorry, I have written a distance. Here will come that the particular direction, and here will come having particular direction. Okay, this is a vector quantity. After that we have to talk. So now we will talk about one more point of this also. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Wait, just so one more point of it is vector quantity can be added, subtracted, multiply or divided. Added, subtracted, multiply or divided. But with which one rule? With algebra rule. Vector quantity can be added, subtracted, multiplied, divided with algebra rule. Let's count example of these. There are a few examples. So we are having the example here of displacement. We are having example of velocity. We are having example of acceleration, velocity, then we are having acceleration, then we are having deceleration, then we are having force, we are having vector quantity. Weight is a vector quantity. We are having tension, tension is a vector quantity. Then we are having reaction is also a vector quantity. We are having linear momentum too, then we are having angular momentum. After that we are having torque, then we are having impulse, then we are having shearing stress. So these all are the example of the vector quantity. Okay, now one more thing to remember the scalar and vector quantity is, I should include here one more point. I remember now. The one more point is any quantity, right here, any quantity with heat and length is called scalar quantity. And after that any quantity, like we have written any quantity with heat, so here will be any quantity with force and acceleration is called vector quantity. Okay, hope you have understood that any quantity with force and acceleration is vector quantity. Any quantity with heat and length is called a scalar quantity. And today we have discussed all about scalar and vector quantities, that those physical quantities having magnitude only, no particular direction, is called a scalar quantity. And in vector quantity, the physical quantity which completely specified by a certain number and with suitable unit like magnitude and having particular direction. So I want to tell you about the particular direction, that I didn't explain about particular direction, that how the particular direction will be. So now I am explaining, just wait. Like we are having same as 3 centimeter line, this is the specific unit, this is a specific unit and a specific number. Now let's see, this is a number and this is a unit. Now what will happening, that if you are having this all with the arrow sign, with what arrow sign, arrow sign show the particular direction, that the vector quantity with the arrow sign means particular direction. So the magnitude and the addition of particular direction is called vector quantity. Okay, hope you all understood about the vector quantity and the difference between a scalar quantity. So that's all about our today's topic. Hope you all understood. Thank you so much.